What if the ultimate illusion of human civilization is not the construct of society, but our desperate engineering attempt to find a non-existent meaning inside a cold, completely indifferent universe? For millennia, humanity has constructed elaborate mythological, theological, and philosophical frameworks to justify its tedious daily existence. We calibrated our consciousness to believe that our suffering has a cosmic purpose, that our labor serves a higher destiny, and that the universe operates on a divine mathematical balance. But when you strip away the comforting architecture of these cultural coping mechanisms, you are confronted with a terrifying, silent reality. The universe does not care about your trajectory. It does not possess a secret code waiting to be deciphered. In the mid-20th century, the French philosopher Albert Camus looked directly into this cosmic void and defined the human condition through a singular, devastating concept: the absurd. To understand why modern life feels like a repetitive, exhausting cycle, and to discover how to achieve absolute freedom within this matrix, we must analyze the eternal curse of the ultimate absurd hero. If you are intellectually prepared to collapse the comforting illusions of reality and embrace the definitive anatomy of cosmic rebellion, hit the like button, subscribe, and let us analyze the myth of Sisyphus. To comprehend the absolute gravity of the absurd, we must first dissect the ancient psychological geometry of the myth of Sisyphus. According to Greek mythology, Sisyphus was a king of extraordinary cunning and intellect, a man who dared to defy the absolute sovereignty of the gods, even going so far as to put death itself in chains. He was a mortal who refused to submit to the predetermined cosmic order. But the vengeance of the gods was not a swift execution. It was a calculated, infinite psychological execution. They condemned Sisyphus to the underworld, sentencing him to a punishment that would last for eternity. His task was deceptively simple, yet mathematically agonizing. He had to push a colossal, heavy stone up the steep slope of a mountain. For hours, days, and centuries, Sisyphus strained every muscle, his feet digging into the unforgiving earth, his hands bloodied by the rough texture of the rock, forces of gravity working against his mortal frame. Step by agonizing step, he conquered the mountain. But the exact millisecond the stone reached the absolute peak, the laws of physics and the curse of the gods took over. The massive rock rolled back down into the dark abyss, returning to the exact point where it started. Sisyphus had to turn around, walk back down the mountain, and begin the process all over again, forever. Albert Camus analyzes this ancient myth not as a distant fairy tale, but as the absolute, raw mirror of modern human existence. Look closely at the structural matrix of your contemporary life. You wake up at the exact same hour every morning. You navigate through the dense, repetitive grid of city traffic. You sit at a desk inputting data or managing mechanical components for 8 hours. You return home, consume energy, sleep, and reset the cycle. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The gears of the social machine grind continuously. Camus famously wrote with devastating clarity: rising, streetcar, 4 hours in the office or the factory. Meal, streetcar, 4 hours of work, meal, sleep. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday according to the same rhythm. This path is followed easily most of the time. But one day, the crucial why arises and everything begins in that weariness tinged with amazement. The moment you ask, why am I pushing this rock? The illusion shatters. You suddenly realize that the corporate ladder, the academic degrees, the relentless accumulation of material assets are nothing more than your personal stone. You push it to the peak of the mountain, only for time and mortality to roll it back down to zero. Modern man is Sisyphus operating within a highly sophisticated industrial underworld. This realization brings us to the very precipice of philosophical despair, suicide. When an individual finally recognizes the absolute lack of inherent meaning in the universe, when they realize that the human desire for order is met with a cold, chaotic cosmic silence, the mind experiences a severe existential crisis. Camus declares that there is but one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is suicide. Judging whether life is or is not worth living amounts to answering the fundamental question of philosophy. If the universe is absurd, if all our labor is bound to roll back down the mountain, why should we continue to endure the physical and psychological weight of the stone? Many philosophers before Camus attempted to escape this terrifying realization through what he called philosophical suicide, the act of fabricating a false meaning. escaping into religious dogmas, or projecting a mystical afterlife to avoid the raw anxiety of the present void. But Camus fiercely rejects both physical suicide and philosophical suicide. To kill oneself is to surrender to the absurdity of the universe. To hide behind religious illusions is to mutilate your own intellect. The true absurd hero does not run away. He stands firmly at the base of the mountain and looks directly into the void. By refusing to escape, the absurd individual unlocks a radical, terrifying mutation of consciousness, absolute freedom. When you accept that the universe is completely indifferent to your existence, and that there is no grand cosmic blueprint dictating your path, an incredible structural shift occurs. The chains of predetermined destiny are instantly liquidized. You no longer owe anything to the gods, to society, or to an invisible master plan. The value of your existence is no longer measured by whether you permanently leave the stone at the top of the peak. The value is found entirely within the raw, unadulterated experience of the struggle itself. The absurd hero realizes that the gods designed the punishment to break his spirit through hopelessness. Therefore, the ultimate act of cosmic defiance, the ultimate geopolitical and existential sabotage, is to find joy within the loop. The moment Sisyphus smiles as he walks back down the mountain to retrieve his rock, he becomes greater than the gods who condemned him. He has mastered his own destiny. The rock is his absolute property. This philosophy completely reallocates the definition of human victory. In the capitalist and social matrix, victory is defined by permanent achievement, reaching the top, staying at the top, acquiring the ultimate reward. But in the universe of the absurd, victory is redefined as continuous, unyielding rebellion. Rebellion is the internal refusal to let the meaninglessness of the world paralyze your vital energy. It is the conscious decision to live intensely, to experience every single breath, to push the stone with everything you have. Not because it matters in eternity, but because it matters right now, in the singular reality of your present consciousness. The struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a human heart. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. He does not push the stone in misery. He pushes it as a king who has conquered his own despair, transforming an infinite punishment into a profound manifestation of human willpower. What, then, is the ultimate Falsafy verdict on Albert Camus and the myth of Sisyphus? The absurd is not a doctrine of sadness or passive nihilism. It is an explosive, liberating call to arms for the human spirit. It is the realization that the cosmic joke of modern life is real, but instead of being destroyed by it, you have the absolute sovereignty to laugh along with it. It tells you that even if your daily routine feels like an endless loop, even if your engineering projects, your academic goals, or your personal struggles roll back down the hill time and time again, the act of standing back up, gripping the rough stone, and pushing it back toward the sky is the most majestic, revolutionary act a mortal can perform. The universe may be completely silent, but your defiance is absolutely deafening. The matrix of illusion has lost its grip. The mountain belongs to you. Prove you are human. Are you a real human history and philosophy enthusiast who watched this dark cosmic saga till the very end? Or are you just a dead bot scrolling through the internet matrix? Prove your existence right now. Leave a comment below with the word Sisyphus, hit that like button, and subscribe to help us break the algorithm for the next chapter. Thank you for watching Real Human. Stay free.